Hi, Dr. Peck.
Hi. So
I'm
nice.
so happy you're here.
I'm so happy to be here.
You know what I realized we can start with? Go Badgers.
Seriously, do you really want to start with that?
I mean, let's just
You
give a
like
quick
don't want to get me started.
why? Because you love them so much.
Well, not only did I go there, and I'm
Yes.
absolutely obsessed with
With
Madison.
Madison, University of Wisconsin-Madison, for anybody who doesn't know that the Badgers from there.
So I went there for undergrad, and it's like the happiest place on earth. And my son is there right now as a freshman.
Get out. I did not know
And
that.
to even double up on that, my bestest friend's child is a freshman, and we were in Madison together and we grew up together. So
Are
every
they
time
friends?
they're
Like,
becoming friendly,
okay,
yeah. But just the fact that I get to go back to Madison to
to
visit my
visit.
and then I get to go to Madison because it's Madison, and then I get to go and see my best friend all together is just insane.
I
It's
love it. I
how
love it.
the passing of the torch.
Yes. But also for us, I know this sounds like it's going to make me sound like such an old lady, but like when you meet people in your realm of life as a later person and you realize you have some piece of shared past, it's very exciting.
So exciting because when we go back for homecoming, we don't just see each other, we see like all the other people that are coming back for homecoming.
Right.
And then we see all the other people whose kids also are in the school. And
Right.
for people that are in Greek life, as an example, it's like then you also have the legacies of all the people that like her daughter's in the same sorority that we were in. And it's just so weird to see it again. And they all look like us.
Right. It could be
That's
any
even
it could be
weirder.
any of
It's the
us.
ghosts of the past.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway,
when you were at Madison, this is how we can take it into your med life. Did you
for
know you
sure.
wanted to be a doctor already?
Okay, so I knew I wanted to be a doctor basically like at birth. It must have been at birth. I mean, I guess when you're 5, you develop a lot of your personality, but I had a lot of doctor influences in my family. So it kind of just seemed like you just do what your parents do, maybe. It just got inbred in me. My dad had a podiatry clinic in East LA where he worked with my mom who spoke Spanish because he didn't speak Spanish, and they would just bring me to work, on the weekends. So I kind of grew up, at least in that medical environment. His brother was a doctor, which takes me to another journey I had as they're Canadian, but he ended up going to Israel during one of the wars to help as a physician, and then he just ended
Wow.
up settling there. So he's a doctor, his son's a doctor, and so doctors were just really all around me. So I just kind of assumed that I was going to be a doctor too. So knowing that, my whole life kind of just panned out that what do I need to do to be a doctor? So I was a really studious student. I just figured that was part of the path. I also love learning like every day. I still to this day like to learn something new. So I mean, I don't want to go on and on, but I'll tell you, originally, like, did I know in Madison that I wanted to be a doctor? So I was like valedictorian in my high school. I was like super serious about the books. I still had fun a bit. Like I was a cheerleader in high school and I got all that stereotypic life. But when it come time to thinking about where I was going to go to undergrad and then ideally where I wanted to go to med school, I knew this was going to be a really long road.
Yeah.
So I kind of just want to have fun in college and
Yeah.
know that I can explore another part of the country. Since I was growing up in LA, we don't really see changing seasons. I wanted to live in the Midwest, and I just wanted to explore another side of myself that I hadn't discovered yet. So that was why I chose to go to Madison.
I love that. It's very similar to my reason too. Not medically speaking, but like I had grown up in New York City, very city life. I knew I would end
Yeah,
up either in New York or LA, and I was like, when am I ever going to have that experience? So I chose for the same.
for sure. I just
Yeah.
got the chills. So that was a really good break because I knew I was going to be in academics and take my work very seriously. And I feel like, which hopefully will lead into just like a life of balance is so important. And I think at that life stage, there wasn't a lot of balance in my world. It was just very narrow-minded and focused and super driven. I'm like really hardworking, really driven. And it's like, there was the goal. What do I need to do to stay on the path? And Madison was a time for me to still do that and get the degree that I needed to get, but also to breathe and play and like get to know myself, I guess. So that's why I went to Madison.
Love it.
Um, so the reason I said part of the beginning of the story is that uh, we used to go to Israel quite a bit growing up because of my family, and my grandparents ended up moving there too. And so there was a part of me that also wanted to spend some time in Israel, and I couldn't figure out when and how to do that. So I went to medical school at Tel Aviv University.
Amazing.
Yes. And so I got to live that chapter so that I could explore if I wanted to have a life abroad long term or if I wanted to come back to the States and practice.
Oh my
So,
gosh, I love this. My sister-in-law teaches there now, not in the
oh,
medical
really?
field. Yeah.
At
But
Tel Aviv University?
hmm
That's crazy.
yeah.
So to
Yeah.
make the torch pass even more,
Yeah.
daughter's graduating this year from college and she's a film major and she was trying to figure out what she wanted to do. And she is like, there's this great program that I want to take at Tel Aviv University. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to have a kid in Madison and a kid at Tel Aviv University.
You must be a great mom. That's all it means.
She's not doing that.
Okay.
But it was just funny on that note. So, all right. So maybe well,
Well, so
why
wait,
don't
when
you
you
tell
get
me
to
what else? Because there's more to the story, but I
yeah,
think
no, and
that was a good
I
answer.
want to hear all of it. But when you got to Tel Aviv University, you still didn't know your track. You were just like, I'm gonna start med school.
Okay, yeah. No, 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 no. So all along the goal was do well in school, get into a good college, major in something that you like, that you have a skill set for, that you can use professionally, but is not in the medical field. So I majored in Spanish because I grew up in that
Smart.
Spanish speaking office, and I had taken Spanish my whole life. And then I also wanted to go abroad. I think you can tell the theme here. I really like to travel and
Yes.
explore other parts of the world.
Yes.
So I studied in Sevilla for my junior year, because otherwise you couldn't be pre-med, do all your credits, and go abroad. So I had that in my back pocket. And then it was med school. So in parallel to this academic world, there was the world of, but I also want to be a mom. And
Mm.
like, how am I going to fit that into my journey? And I think this is probably the better place of where we should lead if you want to like get
Yeah.
me. Okay, so back to high school, I was one of those kind of, someone once called me long and lanky people.
Mm.
And I was thin. I was always like 10% body weight or less until I went into menopause. So
We'll
now I'm
get there.
not a person anymore.
Yes.
And so I stopped getting my periods. Had periods for like a year and then I just stopped getting my periods and it caused a lot of stress and anxiety. And I went to the gynecologist for the first time just to figure out what was going on. And I've told this story before, but I don't know if she said it this way or if I heard it this way. But all I remembered about that day is that she said, if you don't get your period, you will not have children.
Mm.
And my 16, 17-year-old brain, all I heard was, I'm not going to be able to have children.
Mm.
And that was like total shock. I'm
Mhm.
like, yes, I want to be a doctor, but like the idea of not having, I mean, I don't know why I'm getting emotional, but the idea of not having children, I'm
Yeah.
so blessed that I do, was just this terrifying fear. And I think that my life decisions from that point were completely motivated by fear. And
Mm.
it's a very powerful tool when you want something so badly and you're also scared.
Yeah.
And I already had this hardworking, driven personality. So I'm like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to figure out how to be a doctor, but also to have children.
Can I just say one thing? The fact that you get emotional about this is why you're such a good fertility doctor, because you
Um,
understand what your patients are coming in with that fear.
I just love, like, I feel so lucky that I got to do this.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful field. It's like a big wave. And for a perfectionist, which I am, it's actually a really hard field because it doesn't work every time, all the time. And so you have to go through like the high and low of it. But globally, it works so well that it's the best gift. I mean, the fact that I spent my lifetime trying to give it to myself. I think life is about, if you get what you give and you give what you get, like it's reciprocal. And I need to like share anything that I knew or did or learned along the way of my skill set to like help other people just be able to be parents.
I love that.
Like the
Okay, so you're driving your life by fear.
Yeah. And I'm not getting my period. So I go on the birth control pill and I was 16-ish. And so in the back of my mind, it was like, well, at one point when I'm ready to have children, this is actually a really good topic because me telling my story tells me is a lot of the things I tell my patients to do. I've never really thought of it this way.
Mhm.
But okay, so now I'm on the pill and I know that if and when I want to have kids, I'm gonna have to get off the pill, but I don't know if I'm gonna get my period because I'm starting the pill just to medically keep my body in check with natural, well, not natural, but like regular bleeding pattern and for my bones and all these other things that we were trying to accomplish. So I didn't really know what would happen when I went off the birth control pill.
Mm.
So I just assumed I wasn't going to be able to get pregnant.
Interesting.
So because of that, I decided the meeting with my first gynecologist obviously didn't go great.
Yeah.
And I felt like it could have been me. I own like what piece of the puzzle I am playing, but I just felt like I needed to find a more compassionate female physician at the right life moment to educate me in a way that I didn't feel I got. So I just was obsessed with women's health from that point on. So I knew going to med school that the goal was to go into women's health. There was never a question in my mind that I wasn't going to go into women's health. And women's health in and of itself wasn't a field. Of course, the field of OBGYN was there, obstetrics and gynecology. Women's health now is a field in and of itself. So I knew I wanted to do OB.
Mm.
And so when I got to Israel, which is a good part of the story, in Israel at that time, it was the 90s. IVF and the world of IVF started around the mid to late 70s. And so it was still very new. But when you're in medical school, and this medical school was at Tel Aviv University, but it was actually at the time chartered through NYU. So it was an American-based program that happened to be in Tel Aviv. So it was followed that way. So in your third year, you do rotations through the different departments, and I got to do it in Tel Aviv at Tel HaShomer, and they have a very big, and they did then IVF center.
Mm.
And I hadn't even like it was not in my radar.
Mm.
And I just happened to rotate 2 weeks in OB, 2 weeks in GYN, and 2 weeks in fertility. And I have also talked about this, but I saw my first embryo transfer. I can still replay it in my mind. And if you want to ask me what's my favorite and most challenging part of the job, it would be that moment. It's
Mm.
like the intersection between the world of spirituality and the universe down here coming together in a quiet moment where an embryo is like in a lab, passed through a straw, ending in a uterus to see if it's going to find a happy home implant and then create a life.
Yeah.
And so when I saw that, I was just like starstruck. And I'm like, I want to do that.
Amazing.
So I think my path led me into the direction that I was destined to go, but I didn't realize how the pieces were slowly coming together and what was being put in front of me to show me that that's where I was headed. So that's how I ended up wanting to do my field.
Amazing. And I have to say, I've had other reproductive endocrinologists on, and I've never heard that version of ending up in this field. I think it's so beautiful. And I
Yeah.
know, and we'll get into it later, that the spiritual piece is very meaningful to you.
Yeah.
So we can talk more about that. Okay, so at that point, were you like, I'm committed to this? And did you know, because the REI track is extremely long,
Mhm.
did I guess most medical fields are pretty, the
It
tracks are
was
pretty long.
it was 4 extra years past what you would typically expect to do in the fields that were available at that time after med school and after residency.
And because you have to get board certified as an OBGYN and then go for the reproductive endocrinology.
Correct.
Now, if you get certified as an OBGYN, does that mean at some point you're also delivering babies and doing that actual track before you go into this piece of it?
Yes. So the way it
Okay.
works is first you do your residency in obstetrics and gynecology, which is 4 years, and you learn all about delivering babies and all about gynecologic issues. And then while you're doing that, we have a bunch of different fellowship training programs that you could do after you finish your 4 years of OBGYN training. And so you're delivering babies and you're learning everything and you're clinically doing surgeries and hysterectomies and taking out cysts of ovaries, endometriosis, like a lot of the skill set you need to just deal with the general women's health issues. But everyone's at the same, like learning the same thing. But then you rotate, just like I said, in your third year of medical school, you rotate through the different departments of OBGYN, pediatrics, primary like medicine.
Mhm.
When you get to your OBGYN training, you see like a little bit of the gynecologic oncology training, or you do the family planning training, or you do the REI training. And these are little, like a couple weeks here and there to just test the water and taste it. And then after you finish your 4 years, or in your fourth year, you apply for a fellowship program. And there's at least five. There's been a couple added since my time. There's also urogynecology. There's also like advanced, like more like laparoscope, like minimally invasive surgery fellowships. REI is a 3 year fellowship. So I only did OBGYN in my training. I didn't go and become an OBGYN doctor and then apply to fellowship. I went straight through. It was a
Got it.
lot. It was a lot to do, obviously.
Yeah, it's a lot of
Yeah.
school.
Well, I can tell you the fun part that happened to me,
Yeah,
and I was very
please.
lucky, which is the goal of, I hope everyone listening, if they're, or just people who are interested in this kind of stuff. So I told you that, so I had to be on the birth control pill all these years. And I met my partner, and we both were very motivated to have children. And remember, I had this fear and I didn't think I was going to be able to get pregnant. So, right when I graduated my OBGYN residency, I'm like, we got engaged and we were going to get married in June. And then we were going to move to New York for me to do my fellowship for 3 years. So I said, well, we're getting married, so I'm going to get off the pill 3 months before, which is a rule of thumb I tell people,
Yes.
just to see if your periods come back, because at different life stages it can. And my period came back. And I was also super healthy. I've always been like really into like health and wellness and keeping your body in a good, healthy state. I was getting my period perfectly on track every 28 days, which is miraculous. It could take 3 to 6 months for your period to come back, and I didn't think I was going to get it. Then we got married end of May. And I'm like, well, I don't think I could get pregnant, even though, I'm getting my period. So we might as well just try to get pregnant, because if it takes too long, I want to go straight into getting some help.
Hmm.
And the first time we tried, I got pregnant.
Oh my gosh. That's people must have hated you at the time when you were going, when you were like meeting when your peers were like, it's taking us forever. It's taking us forever.
Nope, it was like a very weird time, because all are other
Right.
OBGYN or REI people. And we're all trying
Right.
to fit it all in. Like, well, how can you be a woman and
Exactly.
a professional and have a baby and do your training? I mean, it's a lot to
And
balance.
I feel like the rates of infertility among physicians is markedly higher than the average person.
Well, I don't know, because we know stuff. So like, another point that we could like say is, if I wasn't under so much pressure, though, I'm very happy with how it went. I just wanted to tell you the kicker is, guess what my daughter's name is?
But oh, it's
Abby.
Abby. That's right. I just remembered that. It's a great name.
So that's my Abby. So she
That's
was my
so
first.
sweet.
Yeah. So anyway, is the topic of egg freezing. So I'm like,
Yes.
there's only so many things we're all talking about now, especially in these like social climates of the world, and egg freezing is just out there, and it's just like such the hype. But like, I strongly believe in egg freezing,
Yes.
because my whole path was based on this fear that like I wasn't going to have kids, and I was getting older, and I didn't know how I was going to fit it in. And I just feel like, I wish that part of the world can see that the best time to have babies is in the 20s, like 20 to 30.
Right.
But not that many people are doing that. And I understand why our society's changed. and go women, but it does take away, like you have to make these choices. And if you have to make a choice that you're going to like go into a professional life or put your potential on hold, then at least use a tool. And
Yes,
that is egg freezing. And the sooner people do it, the better. So I just wanted to say that because I
thousand
don't know
percent.
if the life trajectory for me would have been the same had that been available at that time.
Well, and I can't even imagine you're like just becoming an REI and a new mom. That's a
Yeah.
lot. That is a lot.
I mean, I guess
Oof.
if you're going to do it ever, fellowship was a good time. We all
Okay.
know that. That was a good time to like work really hard and take a rest, but like you don't have a practice yet and you're still.
Right.
And so I had my first child and that was amazing. And then I was like, and if you want to know, like I followed my ovulation
Yes.
to the T. Now there are amazing apps, but in the time that wasn't the case at all.
Right.
Good rule of thumb, which I feel like maybe if your whoever's watching knows, but I was really simple about it. I was
Yeah.
like, I have a 28-day cycle. I subtracted 14 days.
Yeah.
I ovulate probably on day 14. I started around day 10. Day 1 is the day you bleed.
Mm-hmm.
Day 10 is the day your body's getting ready to release its egg. I had sex around day 10 and around day 12. I did a pee on a stick, got my little surge,
Hmm.
and we had sex. And I was in South Africa at the time, meeting my husband's grandparents. And so relaxed in a good
Yeah.
state of mind, not expecting anything to happen, just trying it out. And on January 11th, it's still an anniversary for me. Like this
111. I love that.
I was in the ER and I peed on a stick and I still have the pregnancy
Oh
test.
my God, you're hilarious. That's amazing.
But I
Was
still
it as easy with your second?
okay. So then the year went by and I'm like, well, maybe we just got super lucky and she's a
Mm-hmm.
year old. And so I'm like, let's just try again. It was
Mm-hmm.
actually a little sad, but good. And we did, and I got pregnant right away.
Mm-hmm.
But then I had a
I'm
miscarriage.
sorry.
Thank you. But if I didn't have the miscarriage, which people are more fertile after they have, they've been pregnant,
Mm-hmm.
then I wouldn't have gotten pregnant so easily after. I didn't listen to myself, which I usually say wait 3 months.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm super fertile. I lost it early enough on, and then I got pregnant, and then I had my son Brody, who's in Wisconsin.
Okay. Who's at Wisconsin?
So,
Abby and Brody. I love it.
so they're 21 months apart.
Oh, dear Lord.
Yeah.
I think that's
Not
harder.
easy pregnancies,
Mm-hmm.
preterm labor for both. I mean, obviously, I was doing a lot. I was on call a lot, in the hospital a lot, but I have two beautiful children and I'm very lucky. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go back to egg freezing really quickly.
yes.
I know people are like, the sooner the better. Is there an optimal time to freeze? I always say, like, for my daughter's, I don't know, 21st birthday, that's what she's getting. Maybe her 25th. I don't know. When should we do it?
I told my daughter that we're doing it when you're 25, if she's willing.
Yeah. Is she going to let you do it?
We haven't gotten that far.
Okay. Well, if she's listening, I hope she listens and lets me know immediately if she's going to let you do
I
it.
don't
Come on,
know how
Abby, let me know.
happy if she was listening right now about what I said. I did not think this podcast was going to go in this direction at all. So
I love
everything's
it.
fair game, I guess, on these
Yeah.
podcasts.
Yeah, well, that's what we were saying. It makes you very human. And that's what I think is so great about podcasts is that it gets you feeling close to people you might not otherwise be able to get close to.
That's true. We're learning a
Yeah,
lot from each other
that's
too.
right. That's right. Okay, so
Yeah, no,
ideally
said,
25.
I think you should be over 21. There's no
Okay.
like on this. I think the best way to think about it is a lot of the reasons why I love egg freezing, besides what I already told you, is that I see a lot of patients over 40
Hmm.
and I do everything I possibly can to help these women. I sincerely do.
Yeah.
It is hard when they come at 40 and say, like, oh, I just decided I'm thinking about getting pregnant because you don't want to be a negative Nelly. But prognosis wise, it is challenging, and especially after 42. And the last thing I want to do is take away hope from somebody, but it is really, really hard to find healthy eggs when you're 42 plus. And historically, IVF rates, though what we do is good, routinely are not great after 42 if you're using your own eggs. So most of those women for the first decade of my career were using egg donors.
Mm-hmm.
So the typical age that I would recommend for an egg donor would be somewhere between 21 to 28. And that's like a sweet spot time where you get a great number of eggs, and they're not all, but like the majority are 23 chromosomes, or what I'll say is healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we need to match with 23 chromosomes in a sperm to get you a 46 chromosome baby to technically be healthy. I'm being simplistic and doing that because the word healthy, we have to be a little careful
Yeah.
with that. And so I think 21 to 28 is awesome
Okay.
because the world's educated today. We get it. It should be part of the conversation. We're all out here promoting it. So it's not like some taboo topic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you would need to do the least amount of cycles for the least with the least amount of medications and have the maximum result.
Yeah.
So that's my answer. No one's actually formally ever asked me that, but the rule of thumb is ideally less than 35.
Mm-hmm.
But to be fair, we go up to if someone still has eggs and a will and a desire, we'll still do it. It's just the counseling should be pretty spot on and honest.
Mm-hmm. Which
Like,
I really appreciate you saying because I get people who froze their eggs, assumed they had an insurance policy with these eggs, and are shocked when none of those eggs work, but they got like 4 eggs at 37 when they realized maybe I should freeze some because I don't have the perfect partner at this moment. And no one ever said, like, 4 is lovely, but you should probably do another round. Now, I'm sure there are people who the doctor might have said that and they were like, I'm not doing another round. You're crazy. I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I don't have the bandwidth. Sure. But I get actual people who are like, nobody ever told me that 4 might not get me a healthy embryo, a healthy baby. And I think as egg freezing is becoming more prevalent, partially because more benefits packages are covering egg freezing, thank God, we have like that has to be part of the conversation. People are finally getting that egg freezing is helpful. I don't
right.
think they understand the extent to which you get a good batch and enough to really give you an actual insurance policy. Of course, there's no guarantees. So I'm just mostly just thinking out loud, but some doctors don't even approach that with the women who are freezing their eggs, and that makes me very sad.
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts as you're talking. First, you're kind of answering your own question in like, in your own mental exploration, or why is this not happening, that not happening. The truth is, I mean, I'm a very humble person, but if I ever had to toot my horn, one thing that's really important to me is that anyone who's egg freezing, that I do my due diligence in the hello to the goodbye in the like hour I spend with them to make it very clear that I know their brain can only handle so much in that moment and just get their head around what they're about to do. And so that it almost freezes.
Mm.
I watch it in their eyes, like, okay, I've heard enough, kind of, but I always do my part to say, remember why we're doing this. We're not doing this for an egg. We're doing this for a future embryo that we don't know is going to have that 46 chromosomes. So depending on the age you are at presentation, we have to be mindful of if you're not making a lot of eggs, because 4 is quite low.
Mhm.
I never want to make anyone feel bad on what they can
Of
give.
course.
But 4 at 37 would be very, very lucky. It would be
Hmm.
considered very lucky, even in the best of hands, even if all 4 of the eggs thaw, which 90% are supposed to,
Hmm.
all 4 of the eggs fertilized, which at least 70% are supposed to, which at least 50% should even grow into an embryo. And then that embryo being genetically okay at the age that you were is another statistic. So I like walk through that whole thing to try to say, remember the end goal, because most people leave, or sometimes the moms will be there, which is so cute. And they'll be like, oh, my 20 little grandbabies are all frozen in the
Yeah.
freezer. And I'm not going to be like, by the way,
Yeah.
half of those aren't
Right.
doing anything.
Right.
So you're not having 20, maybe
Right.
10. But there's quite a fallout. And you don't want to be negative about it. We're trying to
Yeah.
do positive. But back to your question, the best candidates are the ones that don't have to worry about their ovarian reserve. It's already there. And
Right.
that's why the 21 to 20-year-old, 28-year-old for me, which was like my egg donor population age, is the very best time to
The
do it.
sweet
So
spot.
maybe there'll
Okay.
be a shift.
Yeah, I like
I
that.
tell people over 35 that they should plan on doing anywhere from 1 to 3 cycles, depending on how fertile they are. And when there's a little bit of hints as to how fertile they are based on their what's called their antral follicle count on their period, which maybe you've talked with a lot of people about that, and their AMH value and their protocol. So this comes up in every egg freeze
Hmm.
conversation with me. And I believe that all doctors are here to do the right thing.
Yes.
I would hope to think that the doctors try to explain this to the patients. But I guess it doesn't
It
always.
varies. Let's just say it
Yeah.
varies, and you should toot your horn that you're one of the ones that goes through this entire process with them.
Yeah.
I know you literally have a surgery after this, so I want to be mindful of time, but I want to get into one last thing, which is additionally about you as a human, which
Okay.
is that you and I share a love of some spiritual stuff. We've run into each other at a Gabby Bernstein show. She's the author of The Universe Has Your Back, a million other books. And I love that you're out there claiming this as part of your being, even on your doctor account. How does spirituality affect you as a mom, as a person, and as a fertility doctor? Because sometimes, like you were saying, marrying the spirituality with the science can be challenging sometimes. A lot of times people are one or the other. I am both. I think you are both. How does it work for you?
I mean, I'm getting the chills as you talk. I'm like, I could just like look around my office. I could show you what's in my bag. I could show you the jewelry that I wear. I could open up my journal on my markers and show you that I carry every single place I go. So to be honest, my life is completely guided by spirituality, personally, parenting wise, just being a human. Like I think that's like first and foremost, like one of my big deeds and coming to this world is like how I've integrated spirituality into my life. I mean, the second I wake up in the morning and my eyes open, I'm already praying that I like a lot of fellow comrades from my tribe do, but like I'm already thinking that I like even open my eyes and I have another day to like go out and like how could I be a good person today and how could I do good work today? So like spirituality literally guides every single step of my day. And with the life of, a lot of pressure and a lot of stress, you have to find an outlet, as I sort of told you, different parts of my life, like where you're going to feel more like yourself and where you're going to feel more free and connected to like more than just what you are and materialism. And so through the journeys and how I survive through all the stress is always engaging in some type of alternative therapy. So
Mm.
like I go to acupuncture personally, and I think acupuncture has helped me with my sleep. It got me through menopause and my hot flashes. And I think it helps with my patients. I think it calms them down. I think it keeps them motivated. I think it clears things that I don't even know what it's clearing. I believe in all forms of like physical movement, and there's so many fields for women's health that help, whether it's massaging or it's yoga, meditation. Like there are so many areas of that the universe is actually telling us that like I'm here for you and you're not alone here. And I'm part of every step you're taking. So before I do a transfer, I say my prayer. Like I'm praying the whole time I'm doing a transfer. I'm actually sometimes get visions of the child in my brain, which is
Whoa. I
now.
love
Sometimes
this.
I'm like, come back with a picture because I want to know if what's in my brain is
Is that
actually what
mhm.
happened, which is so weird. But I just think that all of our lives are just immersed with messages all day long, and it's whether or not you're like tapping into that. So I do bring it up in the best capacity that I can in my world. I do believe in science. I love science. That was my, like, besides math, that was my favorite subject. But I do think that the worlds have to combine. And whether or not people are aware that they're combining, they are combining. I believe that, like, sometimes I put in an embryo and I'm like, score, like, that just was like perfect. Like, I'll be like, that's my Kobe shot. That's how I
Mhm.
feel. Perfect spot, did everything I can. And then I find out like it didn't stick. And I'm like, what just happened? And then it'll be the total reverse where you have like a really challenging case and you're like, this kind of a miracle. You got one embryo, it's all into this one embryo, and then there's a baby. And so I'm not controlling that.
Yeah.
So from any chair that I could speak in my life's work professionally, I just think spirituality is behind me 100%.
I love this. Are your children into it as well? Do they believe in spirituality?
Think I'm so every birthday I go to a wellness center.
Hmm.
Life goal. I really want a wellness center. Like I have a whole plan. That is my life goal. Like after this life goal.
I'm so with you on that. I'm with you on
Yeah,
that.
we could talk about that later. I already
Yes.
know exactly what's going to be there, but all the
Okay.
things I've done in my life to help me that I want other people to like learn from, I want to put all in one spot. Maybe somebody out there will help me actually make that happen. But so for my birthdays, I go to a wellness center and I study and I eat like they all have a different theme and it's all like mindful eating and exercising and clearing my head and making and reassessing how the year went for me and what my new goals are. And the last two times, two or three, I've brought a kid with me just
Mm.
to be like, this is your mother's world.
Yeah.
And they're intrigued.
Yeah.
Who knows what they'll do
Yeah.
when they are, well, they're in the world right now. So I don't know
Yeah. Okay.
for
It's
that.
harder there where they are, it's harder to access that.
Yeah.
It's so in front of us in LA, I think. Much more in front of us, the options.
My
Um,
kids have depth. I
yeah.
think when you find people with depth, whether they were born that way or a life circumstance happened or they were exposed to it, like you also find spirituality and intuition and realizing that like it's not all just about like us.
Yeah.
A lot more happening.
Yeah. I love that. I'd love to close with, if it comes to mind, something, a piece of advice that either you give or you get, or something that you say to yourself, maybe one of your mantras, something that guides you through the day, maybe guides your kids through the day.
I mean, I have so many, but like, and I get my Gabby every morning.
That's right, of course.
I actually know her mentor more because I grew up on her mentor's cards, Louise Hayes, actually.
I also love Louise Hayes.
Yeah. So I like you could do hard things.
Yes,
That
that's a
seems to
big
be a
one.
theme for me. I feel like there's always a lot of hard things around me. Whether they're hard or not, I see them as hard. So I think that's a good one.
It's a good one.
Keep trying. This one's from Yo Gabba Gabba. Keep trying. Don't give up. Never give up.
I love it.
I say that one to my kids. I'm definitely a persevere. Um, I don't know, like go for your goal, I guess.
Go for your
We all
goal.
have goals.
I
Set
love
one
it.
and do it. Like I would manifest it. I think write it down.
Hmm.
A good trick.
Yeah, for
And
manifesting.
there's so many. I'm just like channeling what's coming to mind, but like, I don't know. Have some faith and belief and believing yourself and your body and try to make the most of your body. It truly is a gift, especially for women. It's like the most incredible gift that God or whoever, whatever you believe in, brought that
Mhm.
like women have the gift to give more life. And we should treasure that and we should take advantage of that. And we need to put good things into our bodies and good things into our minds and treat ourselves well and not be so hard on ourselves and just love ourselves and just do good.
I love it. It's so simple. That's all.
Yeah.
I love it. I
Do
love
good
it.
things.
Thank you so much for being here. We're going to link out to all of your places and programs and all the things, but I adore you.
Thank you. I adore you too. This was really fun. I don't
Good.
know what was going to happen,
I
but it was
know, but
awesome.
thank
This
you
is
for
like
trusting.
the second podcast I've done in my life. So like I'm
Love
like,
it. Well,
good.
as my kids would say, first is the worst, second is the best, third is the one with the treasure chest. So,
Oh, well, three's my lucky number.
there
So
you go.